Rats. The power is out.
I think I can get more clients. I'm pretty sure the guy behind me is a floody.
I do not know the meaning of this word, floody.
Floody. You know, like a guy who flooded?
Ah, this makes sense.
Watch this. Hi there. Are you a floody?
Why yes. Yes, I am.
Do you know the secret handshake?
No, but I'm pretty sure it involves me bending over.
You're a funny guy. I like that. Gotta have a sense of humor with all that's going on. I'll bet your flood insurance didn't pay for all your damage. Do you want to tell me about it?
Why? Who are you? Some kind of therapist funded by FEMA? I already told you people, I don't need therapy. I need money to fix my house.
Ha, me? A therapist? No. I probably could be one by now with all the hours I spend listening to floodies tell me their troubles. Seriously, you mean you don't know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
Wait, are you that Tony Citizen guy?
The one and only.
Tony, I am more useful than a therapist. I'm a lawyer. My name is Johnny Cufflinks. This lovely creature is my wife, Tatiana. She is also a lawyer.
I used to be European supermodel. Then I was Russian pop star. Now I am defender of justice for the American people.
Did you hire a lawyer yet? To sue your flood insurance company?
No. It's on my to-do list. But I keep hearing you can't sue the government. That resistance is futile.
Buddy, that is just not accurate.
Mr. Citizen, this is not true at all. I see someone has filled your head with big garbage.
Don't forget, you had a contract with FEMA. That means you have rights. Do you want to hear the real story of what goes on in the National Flood Insurance Program?
What real story?
The real story of my white whale. The guy I've been chasing for years. A lawyer named Jerry with a J, Connelson, with a K, that's spelled K-N-E-L-S-O-N.
I see the K is not silent.
Exactly. He is not to be confused with any corrupt lawyers with similar sounding names.
That's interesting. It reminds me of that media company that starts with a non-silent K. They do TV ratings and stuff. The name is Connelson.
This is all just big coincidence, I am sure.
After all, this is just a cartoon.
Sure. You seem like a nice guy. I'll listen to your story.
It is very smart for you, Mr. Citizen, to listen to my husband, Johnny Cufflinks. You will find he is very much like Bond, James Bond, and not just because he is so charming.
And not just because I own every single Aston Martin that was ever featured in a James Bond movie.
What does your fancy suit, your Russian pop star wife, and a couple of fast cars have to do with my flood problems?
Nothing. Those are just my hobbies.
It's very interesting story, Mr. Citizen. Try and show more enthusiasm.
Yeah, look alive. That's better. May I have a spotlight, please? So my white whale, he's this guy, Connelson. He's the reason why Tony and all his neighbors never got paid fairly on their flood insurance claims. He's the lawyer for FEMA and their write-your-own insurance carriers. He has been rigging the system for years to screw homeowners and put disaster money in his pocket, and the pockets of his cronies.
How does he do that?
This Connelson is part of a conspiracy to underpay homeowners, spark lawsuits, and then siphon the money that FEMA is supposed to pay to disaster victims to himself.
Connelson is corrupt bastard.
It's a circle of fraud. See? I told you so. Let me explain. Here's a diagram. As the WYO lawyer, Connelson instructs the carriers to underpay claims. The WYOs underpay the claims. The homeowner is then fucked, and has to sue. FEMA has to pay the WYO lawyer to defend the underpayment. The money all goes in Connelson's pocket, and the circle of fraud is complete. Connelson actually bragged to his colleagues and cronies that, By rigging the system, he could make $1 bajillion in legal fees off Sandy. That is more money than FEMA spent in disaster aid on all of Katrina.
$1 million.
$1 million isn't that big of a deal. That's only like 1.5 houses in my neighborhood.
Not 1 million. 1 bajillion.
1 majillion. It is so much money. I cannot even count this high. Not even in Russian.
That sounds crazy. That can't be true.
You should never doubt Johnny Cufflinks.
I am a skeptic, Mr. Cufflinks. This can't really be what is going on. Are you able to prove any of this?
You bet I can. I have all the evidence. Folgers planted cameras in the headquarters of one of the WYO carriers. They switched their usual coffee to Folgers crystals, and wanted to see their reaction when they found out it wasn't their usual coffee, but everyone came into the meeting right after a Starbucks run. Folgers just left their cameras rolling, and they ended up with damning evidence. They recorded an entire meeting about this corruption. Let's go to the videotape. Okay, so you're saying we go in there, say there is no damage, and pay the homeowners as little as possible. But what if they sue us?
Well, my son, we want them to sue you. I wrote the rules, and the rule says you represent FEMA. And as a representative of the federal government, the rule says you are indemnified against lawsuits. That means, the way I rigged it is, if someone sues you, well, they're actually suing FEMA. Then, since I am FEMA's lawyer, I step in and defend what you did. In return, you get a big bonus, and more clients. And I get to charge FEMA by the hour. I am going to make bajillions of dollars. And so are you.
But what about the homeowners?
Oh, don't worry about them. Flood victims are crafty people. Our business model is, just think of people as dollar signs. Once you do that, you'll feel a lot better about what you're doing. Especially when you're in your limo, on the way to an extended vacation in Hawaii. Doesn't that sound like something you deserve?
Yes, it does.
Are you sure we won't go to jail for this?
Of course not. Waspy white guys in suits and ties, like us, never go to jail. We go to Hawaii. Weren't you listening? I rigged the system. My plan is bulletproof. Just think of me as...
Sorry, had to clear my throat.
Tap dancer on the roof. Sounds crazy, no? But in the big world of NFIP claims, you might say every one of us is a tap dancer on the roof, trying to dance around the truth so we can rip off FEMA and homeowners without falling into a net and getting caught. It ain't easy. You may ask, why do we stay up there if it's so dangerous? We stay because of the millions of dollars we like to roll around naked in. And how do we keep our checkbook balances so fat? That I can tell you in one word: corruption.
Corruption, 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 corruption.
Because of our corruption, we've kept our balances high for many years. As a lawyer for the WYO carriers, I have corruption for everything. How to adjust, how to engineer, all done to underpay claims and put the money in my pockets. For instance, we always try to create lawsuits so we can bill FEMA to defend themselves. We're such a bunch of clever bastards. You may ask, how did this corruption start? I won't tell you, because I've buried the evidence. And because of our corruption, that crazy Johnny Cufflinks is always sniffing up my ass. Really wish he'd found something better to do, because I'm running out of ass perfume.
Uh-oh, here comes Cufflink's wife. Hold your ears, everyone.
Who day and night is corrupt for a living, evil to your children, no one is aware, and who's just not right, manipulates your strife, and has final word on your claim.
Canelson! Canelson! Corruption! Canelson! Canelson! Corruption! Who fixes so you can adjust a home to be a mold-free home, a nice safe home? Even if you must raise or demo the home, and all can see it's wrong just upon one look. Canelson, Canelson, corruption. Canelson, Canelson, corruption.
When I first started adjusting, it's so crazy that it's sane. I knew they had a task for me. Do not pay the claims.
The adjusters, corruption. The adjusters, corruption.
And who did Canelson teach to mend and tend and fix? Those sad engineer reports, so biggest claims won't stick.
The peer reviewers, corruption. Let's erase the damage deletion. Corruption.
But I'm homeless.
He's homeless. He's homeless. Corruption. 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 U.S. foreign corruption.
And in the circle of our fraud ring, we always have our special types. For instance, Jules Jerkoff, the adjuster.
Tony, I have a denial on your claim. Nothing is covered.
Denied? How can that be?
It's pre-existing damage.
Pre-existing, but I had walls before and I don't have any now.
Tell the truth, Tony. Your whole house is a basement. The way I see it and the way it looks, you're lucky anything is covered.
And this guy, the FEMA inspector.
I worked in Katrina. You're all gonna be poor.
FEMA inspector, can you come look at my house?
There's no point. Ain't no one gonna pay you.
But I had insurance.
You clearly haven't been listening to the song.
And most important, the notorious evil WYO lawyer. That's Jerry with a J and Canelson with a K.
Canelson, may I ask you a question?
Certainly, my son.
Is wicking a covered damage?
Cover damage? Let's see, who am I representing today? Yesterday it was homeowners insurance, so it was covered. Today I'm representing FEMA, so no, wicking is not covered.
La 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 lie, la 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 lie, la 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 lie, everybody lies. La 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 lie, la 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 lie, la 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 lie, everybody lies.
Then there are others in our conspiracy. They just look the other way and make their own scandals. His Honor the Senator and His Honor the Congressman. Maybe neither one of them. It's hard to say. We don't bother them, they don't bother us. And among ourselves, we get along perfectly well. Of course, there was a time when Larry Smell and I were in a fight, but that's all settled now. Now we live in simple peace and harmony and...
Canelson with a K, you owe me money for altering those engineering reports.
Not now, Larry Smell. People are looking.
Pay me.
Later.
Pay me.
Shut up.
Give me my money.
Not now. The judge is watching.
Pre-existing damage.
Corruption.
Earth movement.
Corruption.
It was wind and rain.
Corruption. 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 Corruption.
Corruption. Without our corruption, we'd be broke as, well, a Sandy victim. Instead, We're giving everyone a big headache, just like a tap dancer on the roof.
And that is why you and your neighbors are still displaced.
Whoa. You are saying I have been living in a house with no walls, insulation, partial plumbing, and a gateway to hell in the dining room for all these years, on purpose? That guy did this to me on purpose? That is the most fucked up thing I have ever heard.
What this guy has been getting away with is total bullshit. I am telling you, I am going to get this guy and put a finish to his outrageously dirty ways. I will do it, even if it bankrupts me in the process.
Can I ask you a question?
What's that?
How in the world did you find out Folgers Coffee had this video?
Well, that's kind of a long story. Me and Kevin Costner decided to buy the Folgers Corporation after some scientists we were working with figured out a way to use their coffee filters to preserve the ozone layer.
Dude, this guy sounds fucking crazy.
I know. But you don't understand. It all adds up. I have been suspecting the engineer reports were changed to deny damage. And my adjuster, Jules Jerkoff, has been denying my legitimate claim over and over. And all his correspondence to me is postmarked from Hawaii.
I don't know. I still think this all sounds fucking ridiculous. I think the dude behind you is a bag of nuts.
That's not nice, but I am used to this. Everyone is so corrupt, and I am strangely amazing, so it's hard to get anyone to believe me, or anything I say, let alone do anything about it. I won't give up, though. Anyway, think about hiring a lawyer, even if it's not me. You're going to need one to get any justice in this rigged system.
You also are going to need ozone layer. Think of us as one-stop shop.
Sure. Okay. I'll take your card, then. Wait, it says your telephone number is 5. Your telephone number is 5? How is that possible?
That number is hard to get. You have to be really, really rich and live in a castle to get that number. I wanted the number 1, but the telephone company was pretty bitchy about it. Something about trunk prefixes, and 11 digits, and having to change how the whole nation makes phone calls. I didn't fight them, but if you hire me, I will fight for you.
Sure buddy, I'll keep that in mind.
It was nice meeting you. We need to split. I have to hop across the pond now, to Europe, to race some cars, because I am also a race car driver. Please help yourself to our expensive bottle of wine. We haven't had a chance to touch it.
Yeah, okay, now you are talking. Thanks a lot. It was nice meeting you too.
Let's go, honey.
That guy is a character. He was nice enough, but if I wasn't dealing with all this sandy stuff myself, I don't think I would have believed a word he said. His life story sounded pretty far-fetched. That's not the profile of a guy who would be hanging out on Long Island, in a dive bar, making small talk with floaties. If I didn't see that videotape, I wouldn't have believed a word he said.
Man, I thought the same, but I just went into the back and Googled him. He checks out. The wife is a supermodel and she's all over YouTube singing Russian music and she's a lawyer. He totally bought Folgers with Kevin Costner. They really are planning to save the ozone layer with coffee filter technology.
Wait, I did hear something once about some lawyer from Louisiana teaming up with Kevin Costner, trying to clean up oil spills in the ocean. Is this lawyer the same guy?
No, that's some other race car driving lawyer guy.
Why would a Russian pop star supermodel and a guy who has business with Kevin Costner be in this bar, talking to me about my house? That can't be right.
That's what I thought. So I kept digging. He was featured on a TV show. He actually lives in an actual castle with a garage full of James Bond cars. So then I dialed 5.
So you tried dialing 5. That has to be fake.
That's what I thought. You have to pause for 10 seconds, but then it rings his office. His telephone number really is just the number 5. And his fax line is the number 6. Witness.
And that wasn't speed dial?
Speed dial what? The only published numbers for him are 5 and 6. Every last crazy thing he said checked out. He was telling the truth. That being the case, it sounds to me like you need a lawyer.
Okay, am I on candid camera? Alan Fund, are you out there? Ashton Kutcher, are you punking me? People think my show doesn't write itself, but it does.
Are you going to hire him? I heard him say earlier he works on 1/3 contingency. He doesn't get paid unless he wins for you.
I don't know. I guess I have to think about it. 1/3 of my claim is a lot of money. There won't be enough left to fix my house. On the other hand, I am broke because FEMA fucked me, and I am living in a home with no walls or plumbing. That place is only suitable for rabid raccoons. This really sucks.
Well, I'd rather have 2/3 of some insurance money than none at all. I'm glad I'm not you, but if I were, I'd sue the goddamn fuck out of these people.
Now this guy is cursing like a sailor, and this didn't even happen to him. Sandy, you're a bitch.
And now, I can reveal the secret from the Foundation. Crack. Jerry Cornelson, I am your father. I always hoped you would take after me and obliviate the lives of Fleddies. You make me so proud.